High Arctic Energy Services is an energy services company with most of its operations in Papua New Guinea, where it's involved in drilling the wells for liquefied natural gas exports. The company has a strong balance sheet. It's got something like $40 million a year of free cash flow. And of course, it's riding the trend of growing natural gas demand in Asia. But how is it getting through the current commodity slump? We're joined by Tim Brown. He's the CEO of High Arctic Energy. Great to see you, Tim. And just remind us, why are you called High Arctic when you're mostly about Papua New Guinea?
High Arctic started operations in Canada in 1993, so it's certainly a name that originated in Canada. We entered the PNG marketplace a little over 8 years ago, and it's been a great marketplace for us. It provides diversity to the North American industry. Certainly it's a location where the gas is very competitively priced in today's marketplace, and so therefore we're confident that there'll be continued development in the country.
And what do you do there in Papua New Guinea? What's your expertise?
So we provide drilling services, completion services. We have a fairly large rental business. And in our Canadian business unit, we provide snubbing services to the Canadian operators.
The thing about the fans of your company just love the balance sheet. I'm looking at a comment here mid-December from National Bank. They reckon that your cash will be almost $50 million by year-end 2016. And you got a run rate of something like $40 million of free cash flow.
You know, we have over time maintained a conservative balance sheet, and that certainly has benefited us in this downturn. So yes, we do have a conservative balance sheet with a fair amount of cash on the balance sheet. We continue to pay a strong dividend. We'll pay about a 20-cent dividend this year to our shareholders. And we also have an active NCIB program in place. And in 2015, we bought back in excess of 1.5 million of our shares.
Okay, so let me just get that straight. So your yield now around 6.2%. What is your current, is it monthly? I think you pay your dividend monthly.
Yes, we do pay a monthly dividend, and that equates to just under 20 cents per share on an annual basis.
Are you going to increase it this year, do you think?
You know, it's something we continue to monitor. I think we're certainly well positioned if we do take the decision to increase it. But at the same time, we're also looking at opportunities to grow the company. And as such, we may continue to increase our cash position in preparation for future growth.
So these rigs that you have in Papua New Guinea, they're moved around by helicopter. Can you remind us, are they offshore? And how are they light enough to be moved by helicopter?
So all the wells that we drill in PNG are land-based wells. The terrain in PNG is quite mountainous, and there's a very minimal infrastructure in place in the country. So normally what happens is a drilling location is built on the top of a mountain, and then we use helicopters to move from location to location. We have a mixture of rigs in the country. Some move with larger helicopters known as Chinooks, and then two of our rigs can move with smaller helicopters such as the MIL-8. So it's quite an interesting and a logistically challenging country in the world to conduct drilling operations.
For sure. You must be watching these Asian LNG prices with some concern. I mean, we're hearing that gas in Asia has now dropped below $7 per million British thermal units. So it seems the market's pretty soft right now.
You know, in the short term, there definitely is an oversupply of LNG in the marketplace. There's some new facilities coming on stream in Australia this year. But we remain bullish on Papua New Guinea. It's a country that has a large discovered reserve base. There's still a large undiscovered reserve base, and some estimates put that reserve base at over 5 billion BOE. With reserves like that, with a government that is certainly willing to participate with industry, with some, very large super majors in the marketplace developing LNG, and also just giving its geographical location to the Japanese and other Asian markets, it's well positioned and is one of the lowest cost sources of LNG in the world.
Speaking of LNG costs, do you think Canada has any kind of a shot of being competitive?
I think it's still unknown as to whether Canadian gas can compete in this lower cost environment that we're seeing. I think longer term, Canada's still well positioned, and I'm optimistic that at some point in the future we'll see hopefully 1 or 2 additional LNG facilities go into place here in Canada.
We've less than a minute. You have lots of international experience. What geography do you think you might go into next? You got the balance sheet for it.
So certainly we feel there's some attractive valuations that are starting to occur in the North American marketplace. We also have a strong management team that's based out of Australia, so that's an area that we're looking at to see whether some opportunities may arise there. Those are the 2 areas that we're focusing on at the moment.
Tim, an amazing story, and next time we'll have to get some more footage of you moving those rigs around by chopper. Thanks very much indeed for joining us.
Thank you.
Tim Brown joined us, and he runs High Arctic Energy Services.